Ellie, are you awake? What is it? I can't sleep. You don't need sleep. Fair point. You can do that? I just make use of my hologram projector. That's a smart way to use it. So, you're just a machine, aren't you? Seems that way, but I'm different. My AI is not pure coding. It's a digitized conscience of a living being. All of my memories revolve around having a fleshy, soft body. I feel like I once had, instead of having a phantom limb like you, I have a phantom body. So you're a ghost in a machine? In a way, it's made of memories that aren't even mine. It just makes me wonder if I am really myself, or just programmed to act a certain way. Are you alright? I'm 100% fine. Okay, just making sure. You're not going back to sleep? Don't feel like it now. Do you want to talk? Sure. Not like there's anything else to do. I haven't told this to anyone yet. When I was activated, I saw a flash. A flash? What'd you see in it? My pause, or speed 1.80's pause. That was when I thought I was still the real deal. Based on the memories I obtained from him yesterday, he also experienced the same thing. You mean like you saw things from his point of view and he saw things from yours for a split second? Yeah. Right after he talked with Glaceon, who resembled an old friend of ours. Do you know why you weren't activated until yesterday? The answer is clear. I'm just a replacement. Trace wanted me to retrieve his mother's stolen items. It was supposed to be a simple in-and-out mission before that big attack took place. Tell me what happened. So, after defeating all the soldiers, I was attacked by mutated monsters and managed to stop them. You took down all those creepy monsters by yourself? Only temporarily. You saw the final product. Yeah, that thinking about it still sends chills down my spine. What happened next? I headed to a military base Trace sent me to, and tried to find a way inside. I got taunted by mysterious voices, the whole time calling me their father. What happened after you entered that place? I ejected it from my armor and remote controlled it to explore the back of the building while I was exploring the front. It was lucky that I sent my armor there. Trace could have got caught. Then I found you stuck in a static pod inside a facility. That was when you freed me. I remember I kept calling you a drone. From the looks of it, you were captured and experimented on, alongside 4 more Category 3 Berserkers. You were the only survivor. They took my arm, tail, and my friends. I'll never forgive them. It's all in the past now. The most you can do is try to move on forward. Do you remember the time when we first linked? That was when I first talked to May. It also brought back a feature that haunted me, or just speed 1.0. What was that? I'd rather not say. I understand. Remember May freaking out after hearing you call him a virus? How did you hit your own head? Yeah, good times. I still can't believe that you're a survivor from the same abandoned lab at my wetware self-nuked. What was your lab again? C3-78. Right, it's kinda hard to believe that the strongest form of Berserker is lost to the weaker ones. We would have stood a chance if we weren't. I know. 3 Cs were exhausted from the experiments and outnumbered by C1s. You already told me only 8 3Cs were able to escape. The rest were torn to pieces and eaten by C1s. 8? I thought only 5 escaped. That includes me. The log we found showed that there were 8. This makes me wonder, where are the other 3? Where they are, I hope they live life they deserve. Let's move on. Before we could have a further conversation, a giant mutated monster chased us. That was the scariest thing I've ever seen. Tell me about it. And the voices spoke to me again. After that, they claimed that they tried to reach my organic self for some reason. I managed to cut a connection between them, but they had already reached him before I did. The least I could do was stop them from causing further damage. Found you. Thanks to the hologram projector within my system, we were able to stop the giant monster's movement. Something happened regarding May. I know that my core program would always force evolve my host into a prime version of their evolved species. For that instance, I believed I evolved May into what he called Ultimus. However, it was a weakened version since you don't share the same bloodline as the father. Who's this father you keep talking about? I mean, I know what he is to May and all, but not that. Speed 1.0. According to the voices of those rogue anthropomorphs, or amphomuses, that was actually true. I thought May was just saying... I don't know for sure yet, but it has the highest possibility. If it isn't, why would those voices speak to me? You have a point. Since Flare is a C3 and my fleshy self's brother, does that mean he's Ultimus? Wait, so already you found Ultimus? I'm just presuming. Whatever this Ultimus is, we were able to borrow some of its power and shut down that monster. After that, we went into a weapon facility and got ourselves a suit of armor. It had every weapon I liked. The only downside was it couldn't fly. At least it had enough firepower to destroy that monster. After destroying it, we regrouped with Trace in the control room and learned who we were fighting. Apparently the group we were up against was led by Albert the Alakazam, son of our former enemy, Gray the Alakazam. Who's this Gray guy, anyway? Oh, now I get... your illustrious friend's joke. He was a mad scientist and a C3 Berserker who had to gain more intelligence after getting infected at cost of his sanity. He became more intelligent? Oh, that has like 60% chance of happening. Seriously? Yes, it can sometimes boost intelligence. My wetware herself didn't find any data stating that. A lot of data was destroyed on the day the containment breached. I'm not surprised he couldn't find it. Fair enough. Albert the crazy scientist, planned to use the captured berserkers like you to create mutated monsters called Neo-Armored Beasts. Trace attempted to trap those monsters in that base, but something went wrong, causing the base to self-detonate. Unable to cancel it, we fled the base and managed to escape in time. The aftershock caused us to lose balance and crash and land on a field. That was a rough landing. After our armors rebooted, we returned to Trace's house. You guys said something about a wish granted by Jirachi, right? You sure did. I found out that Trace was responsible for making a wish that gave Speed 1.0 regenerative power, at the cost of another wish that kept Chi awake. At least Speed 1.0 can still pass away naturally, and Chi was able to stay awakened for about 2 more years before it took effect. And before Chi went back to his millennial sleep, Trace alerted Speed 1.0's self-resurrecting power. Now, instead of returning as our 11-year-old self, he would return as our prime self, 14 years old. So his prime self is when he was 14 years old? Yeah, too bad that power can be removed since the same wish couldn't be granted twice. It could still be alerted a little, but that's about it. Speaking of which, that second self-healing power completely alerted Speed 1.1's genetic codes beyond recognition. I had to recalibrate my entire system just to adapt to his new body. I guess that's the drawback of this so-called immortality. I also found out that Frost was brought back to life by Trace's wish, and Doc met someone who reminded him of him during his meeting on Alpha Island. I wonder if that was really Frost. I remember that Frost is that old friend you mentioned. That's him. Well, it doesn't matter now. Thanks to you, we learned that they call themselves different than what we do. C1 is called what we're familiar with. Berserker. C2 is called Psycho for some reason. As for C3, they're oddly called outcasts. Were these correct? Correct. May said every single one of his kind, or what we know as the Berserker virus, are connected across multiverses somehow. Multiverse. It's starting to sound like fan fictions or canon in a way. What am I saying? Fanfic what? Never mind. Whenever the physical form of a berserker gets destroyed, they can still exist in a place you called a memory path. I assume that most of of them may merge with each other if they're the same entity from different realities. They do merge. They all used to be one after all. Though what you said is currently the only case that has a 100% possibility. I see. Now the stupidest part may said all them have the ability to steal and copy any power that was used on them. Anyone who was foolish enough to think that they could control all berserkers, especially those who are self-proclaimed gods, and their fake creator had their powers copied and stolen. The more powerful those guys are, the stronger they can become. We're lucky that they're too dumb to use the powers they stole. Now, if I think about it, you have a point. I guess that's about it. Say, aren't you supposed to be 25? How come you don't act like an adult? Chronologically, yes, but I was frozen for 9 years. Physically, I'm still 16. I see. Now for what to do tomorrow. After watching the video file, Trace found, it showed that his mom discovered a strange metal she called elemental metal. A metal with an ability to convert any biological body of any species into elements. It would be disastrous if it was to fall into a wrong hand. Aren't you anyone some crazy guy? He's always want to turn whatever they deem with great potential into a weapon. Who wouldn't? I know it's a crazy golden will fill, but I want to make sure that no one will ever use amphilomorphisms. I really hope I'm not butchering that word. Or what you called Berserker virus for evil ever again. Not even the father's keep in mind, this is all one take. Philosophy. Good luck doing that. The Berserkers are evil. Not entirely. They're misguided. They're just kids. Kids? You called those fully grown monsters kids? That may be true, but in truth, they're just fragments of a 5 years old child. I learned this from the time I spent with May. Their true purpose was never to kill every beings. They can find it's to regain what they had lost. We just need to show them what that'll take a whole lot more than rage and muscle to fulfill their wish. The first step is for every single one of them to rejoin as one. Rejoin as one? I already told you before. They're fragments of who they once were. A child. I really believe we can make them whole again. You should go back to sleep. Then who'll keep you company? It's okay. I'll find a way. You need rest. Alright. Talk to you in the morning. Make them whole again. It should be easier to deal with them if it's really possible. Still, were they really a single child?